Hi again, I'd like to welcome you to this lesson. And in this video, we will have a closer look at the capabilities of the Agora plugin. So we'll have a look at the elements, events, and actions that come along with this plugin. So let's get started. Alright, so when you have a look at the plugin within your bubble editor, we can see that we have a number of elements, events, as well as actions. So for elements, we have the Agora connector, we have the streaming component, and we also have the Agora RTC. And then for elements, you can see that two of them have been deprecated and we only have the Agora RTC element. So it's advised that you only use the Agora RTC element since the rest of them will no longer be usable. So these two elements have been deprecated because they're using the old SDK version. So browsers and Agora no longer support them. So we should only use the Agora RTC element since it uses the new Agora library. And the benefit of this element is that it can be used for both streaming and conferencing. And you'll also notice that other events and actions have also been deprecated, so it's advised that you don't use them as well. And for events, we have quite a number of them, and we also have a number of actions. But we won't have a look at all these events and actions. Instead, what we'll do is that we'll have a look at one element, one event, as well as one action to see how they're used within the demo page of the plugin. So to get to the demo editor of the plugin, simply head over to zeroqode.com/plugins, and then within the search box, simply type in Agora. And remember, we don't want to go to the live demo. Instead, we want to go to the demo editor. So to do that, simply click on the plugin, and then you'll be redirected to this page. And now you can click on demo editor. And here you go. So now we have landed within the demo editor, where we can go ahead and examine all the actions, events, and elements to see how they're used so that we can implement them in a similar way within our own app. Alright, so let's have a look at one of the elements. So we will check out the Agora RTC element. So this element is used for both streaming and real-time calls. And in order to set it up, you simply need to paste it on the page, and then you need to configure some of its settings. Alright, so let's go back to the demo editor to see how it's done. So I'll go to the streaming page, which is the one that says Agora RTC streaming. And then I'll click here, which is the Agora RTC element. So we can see that here we have several fields. For example, we have the remote users group, and when we click on show documentation, we can see that this refers to the group that will display the video tracks of remote users. And then we also have the codec, and this is basically the video codec that the browser uses for encoding. And then most importantly, we have these two fields. One is for mode and one is for role. So for the mode field, we can see that we have two options within the dropdown. And the first one is real-time call, which is used for video conferencing. So if you're trying to set up a video conferencing feature, then you can click on real-time call. And then the second option is for streaming. So if you want to set up a video streaming feature instead, then you have to click on stream as your option. And then for the role, we also have two options here. And firstly, we have the host, and then we have the audience. So if you're setting up a page that will be used by the host, then you have to click on host. And then obviously, if you're setting up a page that will be used by the audience, then you have to click on audience. And then for other fields here, you can go ahead and check out the documentation for more information. And a link that has more information about Agora RTC has been provided within the course material. Alright, so now let's have a look at one of the events. So we will have a look at this one that says Agora RTC user joined. Now this event is triggered when a user joins a channel. And to understand how that event is used within a Bubble app, let's go back to the demo editor and then just ensure that you are on this page which says Agora RTC, and then click on workflows. And then we can go and actually search for that event. So I will say user joined like so, and I'll click on this one. So we can see that this is the event right here. And within the first step, we can see that we are creating a new viewer within the database, and we are assigning that viewer a unique ID. And then within the second step, we are actually showing an alert message to show that a new user has joined the room. And then lastly, we are simply changing a custom state to no. So this is basically how you can go ahead and use this type of event within your Bubble app. Alright, so finally, let's now have a look at one action. So we will look at the action here that says leave a Agora RTC. And this action basically allows the user to leave the room that they are currently connected to. So to see how that works in action, let's go back to the workflow tab within the Bubble editor. And then here I will try to search for that action. So I will say leave like so, and then we can see it popping up here. So I'll click on it. And then we can see that when this button is clicked, we are using this action within the first step, and it's simply linked to the Agora RTC element that has been placed on the page. And this will allow the user to leave. So that's simply how this action can be used. And of course, the documentation does explain all these actions and more in order for you to understand how they work. So I hope that this lesson has given you a bit of an idea of how you can use the elements, actions, and events of this plugin. But do not worry, we will explain them even more within future lessons. So let's now move along to the next one.